talk about FCI Fort Dixon, and we're going to talk about. Okay, so they're saying that this prison is considered a low security prison where Sean Diddy Combs is going to serve out his sentencing. Okay, so they're saying that he should be spending, the rest of his time there. And yeah, it's considered again a low security prison. Use programs there. And then they said that people who stay at that prison, they tend to stay there because it's within 500 miles of their family. Okay. But we all know that Diddy was caught the other day, so he's going to extend his time there as of now. Okay. So they said that his lawyers did ask the judge, that he be placed there. And this prison is located in Fort Dix, New Jersey. I had not heard of this prison before, knowing that Diddy was at this prison. Like the video and subscribe, and don't forget to check out my other prison series episodes. Okay, so look, they said that Combs wanted to stay at this prison because he can basically address his drug abuse issues, and then they said he can maximize his family visitation and rehabilitation efforts. That's what his defense attorney said. They wrote that in a letter to the court, okay? So they're trying to say that Diddy wants to use their RDAP program, their residential drug abuse treatment program at Fort Dix. Okay, so he's making this prison famous, but reality star Lisa, Judice, I'm like, what is her name? The New Jersey housewife lady, she was at this prison too. Teresa, that's her name. She was also at this prison. Okay, so they're trying to say that the letter was wrote, it comes days after Mr. Combs was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison for his July conviction, okay? And that was on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. And he's already served just over a year in detention since his arrest from last September. And they said now he's looking at less than 3 more years behind bars. Okay, so anyway, the FCI Fort Dixon is the largest single federal prison in the U.S. with over 4,100 total male inmates. Okay. They said including about 3,900 at the FCI, and then they said about 200 at, I don't know what they mean on that part. Okay, so it looks like, anyway, the more of the story is they have over 4,000 inmates at Fort Dixon. That's what they want you to know. So they said, I knew it was something with the military too. So they said this prison, Fort Dixon, it's attached to the military base Fort Dixon in southern New Jersey. And then they say it's about an hour's drive from Philadelphia and about an hour and a half from New York City. So he's going to be having some good friends, more than likely celebrities visiting him. And, I'm sure he's been cold being at this prison, y'all. So they said that Diddy is currently incarcerated, for people who didn't know. But yeah, New York is where he was born and raised. And then they said also that this prison has had many other high profile figures. So, this prison is now going to be famous thanks to Diddy, for people who are wondering. Okay. So they tried to say, though, this prison is considered laid back. They said with little violence. They tend to have a dormitory style setting, communal bathrooms, and then they said that they have different programs for prisoners who have abused drugs at this place. And so they said if you graduate from these drug abuse programs, you can get your sentence reduced by up to a year. So that's the point of taking these drug abuse programs, okay? So they said that program I was telling you about earlier called RDAP is great because if you qualify, you get time off your sentencing. So you guys, if you ever go to prison, you want to enroll in that stuff to knock off the time. And we know Diddy is enrolled in that, but Diddy, you took time off your sentencing and then you got time put back on because they said they caught him the other day in a three-way phone call. So someone must have snuck a phone in, and then Diddy is enjoying himself, kick back, relax in prison, talking on the phone, probably to his new boo thing, or he could be talking to Young Miami. You never know. Okay, so they said they had a filmmaker. His name was Seth Ferranti, who served over 2 decades in federal prison on drug charges. All right, so then they said, let's see what else they're saying. They said that this prison is considered a town of its own, for people who are wondering. And let's see, what else do we need to know about it? They've had several high-profile incidents of contraband in recent years. Okay, they said it was reportedly running pharmaceutical company from behind bars. They said that that's what some prisoner was doing. And then when they found out that person was doing that, they transferred them to a prison in Pennsylvania. And then they said in 2020, several men were arrested and charged in a scheme in which they used drones to smuggle cell phones and phone chargers, tobacco, and other items into prison. Okay, so you guys, the way they get cell phones in prison is through drones. That's what it says right here. They smuggle cell phones, phone chargers, tobacco. And if you look at earlier episodes of my prison series, you would see that if a police officer or somebody, if you're in jail, would be a police officer, but a prison guard if you're in prison, if they're chewing tobacco, they said there would be somebody who would scoop it up like this, scoop up what was spit out, and then that's how the inmates would sell that, and people would get high from it, kind of like how, they said Diddy was, drinking toilet wine. Hey, Jason, how you doing? How's your day going? That's the real question. How are you doing? Like the video and subscribe, you guys. Has anybody been to prison? Good to know. How's the weather where you are? Where are you? Okay, we're going to get back to talking about this. Okay. So let's see. Again, I'm reminding you guys that wherever inmates are placed, they usually want to be kind of close to their family because you want, your family to be able to drive and see you. And that's the reason that Diddy specifically picked this place. Remember, he's from New York and he wants his kids and whoever else to be able to visit him anytime, South Carolina. Sounds good. How did you find my channel? Please tell me. So also they said the Bureau of Prisons operates minimum, low, medium, and high security prisons. Low security prisons house about 36% of inmates, while medium security house 33%. Okay, so now I'm going to get into talking about Diddy. I will get back to talking about that prison some more because, it's a new prison that we all want to know about. I never talked about that prison on my channel. If there's a prison you guys want to hear about, don't hesitate to ask me to talk about it because I love updating and telling everybody about prison. Okay, now we're going to get into talking about Diddy again. Okay, and you guys, he doesn't know how to stay out of the news. That's the sad part. Okay, so let's talk about right now what's going on with Diddy. So they said Sean Diddy Combs, his children are lawyering up to seize control over his finances from his mother. That's what they want to say. So they said that they've been, I guess, feuding over his $400 million fortune. Okay. And they said Diddy has 7 kids and they want to seize control of his finances right now from his 85-year-old mother. And they're trying to say Janice, his mother, is feisty. That's what they want us to know. So they're saying that, it could possibly get explosive, you guys, while they're trying to get control over his finances, because everybody has, wants the money. That's for sure. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh, scrolling through YouTube. What do you expect? He has all of the attention on him. Yeah, but he's in prison. What do you think about him still getting all this? He didn't get this much attention when he was out of prison. That's the part that's crazy, right? When you go to prison, you get more attention. That's just what happens, you guys. I don't know why, but seems that's what it is. Okay, so they was like that. Diddy's kids were blowing his money when he first got in prison, and that's what they're still trying to do, and that's the reason why they're trying to take control over his money while he, is in prison right now. Okay, and now they want us to know what his kids have been doing. Okay, so Diddy's children, they've been spending his money on different things like tropical vacations. They shopped for diamond encrusted watches, designer jackets. His daughters rode camels. That's what they want us to know, in Mexico. And yeah, they're talking about they went to different fancy beaches, wearing designer bikinis with his money, and they were on yachts in St. Bart's. That's what they want us to know, you guys. And then they're talking about how his kids were taking private jets, and that's why they need the money, because private jets aren't cheap by no means. And they're trying to say that they went to places like Hawaii, Texas, Florida, Mexico, Italy, India, Ireland, Canada, St. Martin, California. We know that. Okay, so he's been paying for all this stuff while he's been in prison. And of course he's going to pay for it. That's how he got all of them to show up to his court stuff, by offering up money and all that, right, you guys? I'm going to see what you're talking about. This case will never make it to court. He will be out by then. Well, he's in prison right now. He's supposed to be serving out his sentencing. Well, half of his sentencing, but he did get in trouble. So, we'll have to see if Donald Trump will help him out some way, somehow. Okay, so let's see. Here's his 80-year-old mother, Janice, which I'm sure you guys have all seen her. And we know Diddy is the face of Fort Dix prison. He's the face of it for now, until somebody else joins him that's more famous. Okay, so let's see what else there. We got more Diddy news, okay? Because, Diddy is being sued. But then we're going to talk about Diddy's prison life. So they're saying Diddy right now, he's being sued by Biggie's son, CJ. Okay, I'll have to find CJ Wallace's picture in a second. And then they're trying to say that CJ is saying he feels humiliated. That's what they're trying to say from there. CJ's accusing Diddy of trying to get him involved in, those freak offs. Let's find CJ Wallace. So hold on, you guys. Bear with me. Like the video and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my other prison series episodes. Okay, so I'm going to show you who this guy is. This is Biggie's son right here. I'm trying to get you a good picture. That's Biggie's son, and he's trying to sue Diddy, you guys. It's always something, always some type of drama going on, right? So I don't know if he wants fame and that's why he's suing Diddy, because we never knew about this guy, right? We don't know him, okay? But he supposedly must be running out of Biggie's money. So when you're running out of Biggie's money, you have to sue somebody like Diddy, right? That has to be it. Let me see what you're talking about. It takes about 3 years for a case to make it to, okay, got it. I don't know how that works, but maybe you do, and I believe you 100%. Okay, so they said Biggie's son CJ files a countersuit against a publicist. Okay, so they said CJ, the public, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the notorious B.I.G. son, CJ Wallace, is firing back at the publicist who sued him earlier this summer, filing his own defamation lawsuit against his publicist for claiming CJ helped lure him to a place to where P. Diddy could assault him. Hey, you guys, it's always something, right? Always something. So they said that back in July, they broke this news about Diddy. And, they said at that time it was anonymous on who was suing him. But now he's come forward and claimed, So, you guys, Diddy, you just constantly stay in the news. You don't know how to sit down even in prison and stay out of the news. Okay, so CJ, Biggie's son, is trying to say Diddy tried to force him into, a man on man situation. Okay, but whatever. We don't want to talk about it because it's gross and it's disgusting. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so all right, Diddy, you're constantly in the news. Now let's talk about what's his life like in prison. Okay, so they said Diddy is working at the chapel. All right. Okay, so they said he's spending his early prison days working in the chapel and he's enrolled in an intensive drug treatment program. Okay, that's what CBS News is saying about Diddy. Okay, and they said they've been disciplining Diddy over his cell phone ban issues because he's been sneaking in cell phone, I don't know, from a drone or something. So they said that he had faced disciplinary action for what he just did, because he had an unauthorized cell phone. So this was days after he was transported to that New Jersey prison. Okay. So they said that Diddy's going to lose commissary privileges as a result. And obviously they took that cell phone from Diddy. Okay, so they said Mr. Combs was moved to Fort Dix in prison on October 30th after being sentenced to more than 4 years on prostitution, retaliated charges. Okay, and this is Diddy's prison photo, obviously. A little blurry, but you can kind of see he looks a little old and worn out. That was his prison photo. Okay, so they said that the documents offer a glimpse at how the hip hop mogul is spending his time in prison. Okay. Hey Jimmy, how you doing? Yeah, Puff Daddy. God bless Puff Daddy. That's right. I'm the missing link. Okay. All right, you guys. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out my other prison series episodes. Okay, so let's talk about Diddy's work assignment, and then we're going to get into talking more about that prison, Fort Dix. Okay? So they said Mr. Combs is working as a chaplain's assistant, which is considered one of the more desirable assignments at Fort Dix prison. Okay? They said a former prison commissioner told CBS News the task varies, but typically inmates maintain the chapel's religious library, clean their office, and help with some record keeping. Okay. So they say he works in the chapel library where he describes the environment as warm, respectful, and rewarding. All right. So they said that what makes this assignment especially desirable. All right, let's talk about it. It allows inmates to work in a private office, often with air conditioning, and chaplains frequently bring in food for religious services, which can be shared with the assistant. A corrections officer who worked in federal prison for more than 20 years told CBS News, the chapel is one of the only places where inmates can congregate freely. Chaplains can also allow their assistants to prepare a call-out list, which tells officers which inmates are allowed to leave their cell to go to programs or medical appointments. They said assistants could add their connections or friends to the list. Okay, so they're trying to say, you guys, that Diddy picked to do the chaplain job because it would be like if you were friends with me and I was in prison. I can put you on the list too, where when we're over here, we can get food because this chaplain is bringing food, snacks. We can freely talk to each other. We can freely do this. We can do that. And that's why he likes it. It's more laid back. Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Combs, he was raised Catholic, and he spoke about, this in recent years when he's referenced God, basically. Okay. Diddy said God puts us through all things for a reason, and he was seen reading the Bible in the courtroom during his trial, too, you guys. Okay, so within a few days of Diddy's arrival in prison, he found himself in trouble. Okay. He made a 3-person call on November 3rd in violation of prison rules, y'all. He told officials it was a conversation with his legal team about issuing a statement to the New York Times. What a lie, right? Diddy's a big-time liar. So they said the Bureau of Prisons prohibits inmates from, adding multiple people to a phone call, and inmates can only speak to people on prison phones, okay? That's approved, on the call list. All right. So you guys, he's not following the security rules. Shame on you, Diddy. So they said Diddy also had called an unnamed woman about halfway through their call. Mr. Combs said he needed to talk with someone described as the digital person. I'm over here, I'm laughing because Diddy's a big time liar. Diddy, why you gotta lie like this? They said the woman asked Combs if she should add that person to the call, and he said yes. Combs first spoke briefly with the woman about arranging visitors for the weekend and suggested that they bring cash, okay? He wanted them to bring $200 in singles, okay? There is no indication as to how he intended to use the money, possibly a prison freak off. Prison regulations, bar visit. Okay, so they're trying to say that, all right, bar visitors from bringing in currency other than the coins for the vending machines. Okay, so they're trying to say in prison, you don't need what Diddy was requesting. They have vending machines, right? So I guess you would need more like quarters. So, all right, you guys. That's why he got in trouble. Yeah, that's the moral of the story. But multi-person calls are banned in prison because of the concerns that inmates could use them to coordinate criminal activity, for people wondering, such as smuggling, gang violence, or witness intimidation. However, these calls can be used for more innocent purposes. That's what they do want you to know, such as calling to two beloved ones at the same time. But obviously that's not what Diddy was doing, so that's why he got in trouble, okay? So they said that they called their girlfriends and asked them to possibly add their mother. They're saying that's the only time you can do a two-way person phone call, okay? So they said that inmates run the risk of getting caught, but no corrections officers can truly monitor the thousands of calls. Okay, so they're just trying to say that when you're doing something illegal, that is so many prisoners there that they don't have time to monitor what you are specifically doing. And that's why obviously Diddy thought he would get away with it, okay? So, yes, so that's pretty much the moral of the story. So they said Combs will lose 90 days of phone privileges and 90 days of commissary privileges. Oh no, can't go to the store, Diddy, for the end. Okay, so, oh well. All right, so now we're going to get back to talking about that other prison in just a second. But anyway, that's very sad. We're going to wrap this video up very soon. I'm skimming through what Diddy has been saying about prison. But yeah, I want to talk about that other prison. Do you guys have any questions about this Diddy situation, or like the video and subscribe, folks? Now I'm about to get into the last part of the video. Now we're going to talk about Fort Dix, okay, you guys, and like and subscribe. Okay, so this is located obviously in New Jersey, okay? The common name for the Army support activity, they said, is located at Joint Base McGuire, okay? McGuire Dix Lakehurst is in the United States Army post. It's located 16.1 miles south southeast of Trenton, New Jersey. Okay. So they said Fort Dix is Air Force for people wondering. Air Mobility Command. As of 2020, they said Fort Dix had a total population of 7,700 people. Okay. So you guys, it's a military base. Look. All right. All right. Let's see if there's anything else for us to know. Okay, so they're trying to say that the base has some Air Force and Navy there. I'm skimming through. Well, I want to hear the history of what's going on and how it became a prison. So I'm going to get to I'm going to type in the fact that it's a prison now. So just a second. Okay, let's see if that changes things. Okay, so hold tight. Okay, so they're saying Fort Dix is a low security prison in the United States for male offenders in New Jersey. That's what they want you to know. It's operated by the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Okay, it houses obviously male inmates. It's a minimum security prison. Okay, low security. All right. So, all right, you guys. It's a large prison, though. I'm skimming through to see what else do we need to know about this prison. Let me see, did we have any? Yeah, they're talking about what people we know served there. I don't see any other famous people. I'm looking at like the list of inmates that served at this place. What is the discussion? Oh, hey, Jason. We're talking about Fort Dix and that prison, and Diddy is at that prison, so that's pretty much the topic. And I'm trying to see, did we have any other famous inmates at Fort Dixon? And then I'm talking about how it's also like a military base. But yeah, you guys, like the video, subscribe. Yeah, that's pretty much the moral of this prison. I'm not really seeing too much interesting extra stuff, but I did find out today that it's a military prison too. So let me see if there's anything else we will cover about this prison. But again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below, of course. Yeah, I don't see none of these other inmates that when I'm looking through, they don't look to be famous. I'm looking at their past inmates. Yeah. And I pretty much updated you on their abuse program. And they do have other trainings there and apprenticeships. They have a library there, commissary, other recreational services at Fort Dix is the gymnasium. They have a weightlifting room. They have stationary bikes, exercise area. They do have TVs at this prison. They do have indoor and outdoor recreational areas, music rooms, pool tables, table games. So Diddy's there playing table games. Okay, so their outdoor recreational area at this prison has softball, soccer, football, handball, racquetball, horseshoe pits, volleyball, track. Wow, they have a hobby craft program at Fort Dix, okay, where you can do like pastel work, acrylic, oil painting, pencil drawing, music. Wow. They even have piano and guitar lessons at this prison at Fort Dix. Oh my gosh, and a music room. Wow. So it sounds like Diddy's living it up at this prison. And they said that open year round, you can play basketball, soccer, volleyball, or softball. in their recreational yard. So this prison isn't really a bad prison. It sounds like people really like it. Diddy, the most famous person ever. Yep, that prison does have a Confederate history. What do you mean when you said they have a Confederate history? Or could you further elaborate, please? Because I'm going to close out on the video within 3 minutes. And I'm still summing up what I have at this prison. So if you end up with a loved one at this prison, they do have visitation hours from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sunday, Friday, and Saturday. And on Monday, visitation is from 8:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. Okay? So visitation is from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. on federal holidays. They wanted you guys to know that. That's what they want you to know. Okay? If you want to know what the level of violence is at this prison, it says there tends to be a low to moderate level of violence at this facility. Okay? But vulnerable inmates are sometimes targeted. That's what they do want you to know. One inmate said inmates largely bring violence on themselves by doing stupid things. Okay? Violence is mostly within gang issues. I don't think this is the safest place to be. Okay, that's what they do want you to know. Okay, so Fort Dix, New Jersey prison inmates had mixed beliefs about the ex-offenders and informants and LGBT inmates. Some said that all could stay, though they are sometimes targeted, and others felt that informants could not remain. All right. Okay, so they said if you're an ex-offender at this prison, they said you would be bullied, okay, or made to stay out of their room all day until count time or recall. Many feel threatened with violence or extortion. That's what they want you to know. And then they said ex-offenders are often excluded and shunned here and are often victimized. This isn't a great place for those people. That's what one inmate said. Okay, so do what blah, 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 blah. Now we're talking about the cop presence. I guess you get a little bit of privacy. That's what they want you to know. Okay, so lack of personal area privacy and security due to larger occupancy rooms. The people sometimes, I don't know what they mean there. That this must have been written by an inmate. They said the staff is lazy. It was named after John Adams, a Union Confederate general. Okay, so they said oftentimes the staff will turn a blind eye to the abuse. And so if they see something happening to you, they'll act like they don't see it. But this is prison, so I guess we shouldn't be shocked, right? All right. So they said also the staff members, they're trying to report that they abuse the inmates. Hey, they said this is a good place as long as you keep to yourself. That's what they do want you to know. But yeah, you guys, that's the more of this prison. Do you guys have any questions? I mean, this is my first time hearing about this prison. I never really knew about it until Diddy went to this prison. That was what made me decide to talk about it. I didn't even know what city it was in, but now we know it's in New Jersey. So, prisoners allegedly could sneak out of prison unnoticed, pick up contraband from stash spot, and then sneak back into the prison undetected. I guess they're talking about how the contraband happens at this prison. All right. I'm seeing if there's anything else we should talk about this place. But you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. And I did do a video earlier on Epstein. If you could check that out and let me know what you think, you know. And you guys, tune in for episode 100. It's going to be good. It's going to be epic. You know, I'm going to look good on episode 100 because it's the most famous episode of the series, you guys. And yes, there will be a Death Series episode probably the same day, so you guys better be ready for it. And you guys, let me see what else you had to say. That's normal. I enjoyed your video. Thank you so much, Jason. Did you see my other video? Were you on my other live? And I did subscribe to your channel. Come to South Carolina. I mean, I'm always in the South, you guys. Right now, I'm in the Midwest, but I do get around. I mean, I want to go to the East Coast. We're talking about what I want to do right now. I want to go to the East Coast, and now I want to go over to Texas. You know, I need to get some sunshine. I don't really like cold weather. I like to wear like warm weather material. I don't like to have to wear coats. I don't like to have to own a coat. I don't like it to be too hot though. If people are wondering, my favorite weather is breezy a little bit, but lots of sunshine. You know, that's what I prefer. And I'm going to let you give you time to comment and I'll respond and then I'll close out. If you can, let's discuss mental health next session. Do you mean like prison mental health? Could you elaborate, please? It sounds like my last video when I was talking about Epstein, they said he had a psychologist. So they're getting to speak to those people. Remember, Diddy's working in the chaplain. So his mental health has to be decent. I meant like decent enough because he's getting to chit chat. And then they say he can put people on his list. So if you were my best friend, I put you on the list and now you're working at the chaplain too. And now I'm getting my social time in. I'm trying to say, like, if I have you on the list and you're working now at the chapel too. So what? Their mental health seems to be probably, they get plenty of time to talk to people. And then you saw he snuck in his cell phone. If you sneak in a cell phone, that's socializing. That's getting time in, you know. Our emotions. What are you talking about? I need you to tell me what you mean, and then I can close out. Hey, you guys, like the video, subscribe, you new people. What do you mean? Nobody has told me if you've been to prison before. You know, I found out someone I know has been to prison. They didn't really feel comfortable telling me, but they eventually came clean. What I'm saying, let's discuss our mental challenges. What, my mental challenges? Hey, Pink Lady, what's up? Oh yeah, you know, I can't leave without Pink Lady. You got to tell me about this date. You need to tell me, are you going to be getting all dolled up? Are you going to be, you know, wearing something cute? Where did you meet this person, Pink Lady? You got to tell me. No, I have not. Yes. Okay, Jason. Got it. And welcome to the channel, Jason. You can check out some of my other videos too and let me know what you think because I do respond to everybody. It's almost my lunchtime. I'm thinking pizza. I'm going to share my pizza with Mr. Fox. Cute pink top and fitted jeans. You didn't say how you met this guy. You know, because it was you who brought up the date. You know, that's why I'm like, you know. I met him at Trader Joe's. Ooh, that sounds nice, Pink Lady. Hi, new person. Okay, Jason. Okay, wow, Trader Joe's. I haven't been to Trader Joe's in a long time. I like shopping there in like LA, you know. Of course, I wish you luck on your date. I hope it works out, or just let it be fun. Let it be a good time. Don't let your whole life revolve around a man, you know. You know, they're only a small part of your life, you know. Don't let them be the source of your happiness. I'm good. Thank you for asking. And for you other people who didn't see me talk about Epstein, please check it out and make sure you let me know what you think. You're Indian. That is really cool. Are you a new subscriber, or have you seen any of my other videos? I'll call you Mr. India. That's what I'll call you. Let's see if my drink is. Oh, you seen Mr. Fox? Oh yes, that's my little baby. Yeah, thank you for being one of my subscribers. Welcome to the channel. And you guys, you know, I'll try to remember to put Mr. Fox in my next video because we love Mr. Fox, of course. All right, you guys. Don't forget to share the video, most importantly, too. We got to get me out there even farther, you guys. I'm already doing good, you know, but let's share my video. That's what we need to do. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, so more people can subscribe and be a part of my channel. Absolutely, Pink Lady. That's the best thing to do. Just go have a good time. Don't have no expectations from this guy. Just, you know, enjoy yourself. Also, don't be afraid to end the date if he's, you know, being, you know, not so great. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you, Jason. I'm from the U.S. You're doing good and look good. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Yes, and no expectations. Okay, you guys. Now we're about to close out. Any last questions before I leave? And then I'm out. I'm out for the rest of the day. Gonna enjoy my weekend and take Mr. Fox out. Thanks for your advice. No problem. Okay, you guys. I will see you on the next one, and be good. See you, Jason.